Innocence is a wonderful thing, isn't it? When you look out at the wee kiddies having a laugh at school or playing at the beach, it's great to see minds that haven't been beaten down by life just yet. Those who have never even thought about which tax bracket they're in, or the issues that one has when trying to exhume a corpse from a grave to be used in a ritual to summon Cthulhu. Relatable stuff, you know? Plus, as a kid, you get to watch all of those silly and colourfully abusive TV shows without issue or judgment. God, they don't make them like they used to. Although saying that, because these shows are made by adults, sometimes they pepper the usual mush with a little bit of late-night spice, and that's where this list comes in, as you'll find examples of raunchiness, violence, and sexual identity that totally flew over our heads when we were but youths. I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 TV moments everyone misunderstood as kids. Number 8. Rev Up Your Harley, The New Batman Adventures. First off, what a fantastic show, am I right? The mood, the art, the storytelling, this was and still is some of the finest work The Dark Knight has ever put in. And seeing as many of these stories focused on death, deceit and daring acts, it's not actually that surprising to rewatch the show and find a few pieces of adult-themed content spliced up in there. However, there is no better example, or more blatant, than in the episode Mad Love, in which the Joker is busy figuring out a plan to finally kill Batman once and for all, only to be interrupted by Harley Quinn, who happens to be wearing some revealing nightwear. The Joker is so obsessed with his work that he tells Harley to leave, only for her to provocatively retort, "Aw, come on, Pudding, don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom?" Now, in the eyes of a youth, this won't make any sense, apart from Harley is just being silly, right? Well, it's pretty obvious to adults that the revving is a little more than just noises. Legends state that this line was originally even less subtle, with Harley inviting the clown prince of crime to ride his Harley, but the censors reportedly forced a change. Number 7. The mayor gets his pencil sharpened, The Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls got away with a fair share of risque humour over the course of its run, but the most daring of which occurs in the Season 2 episode Something's Amiss, where the mayor gets a visit from his aide Miss Bellum, whose revealing clothing causes the mayor to, snap his pencil. But it gets better. Bellum then grabs the mayor's hand, pencil and all, and insists on helping him by guiding the pencil into the pencil sharpener, as framed in a not-so-subtly pornographic fashion. Hell, the mayor's 2 fingers even look suspiciously like bollocks. And no, I'm not kidding. The mayor then convulses with glee before letting out a spent sigh and then stares at his newly sharpened pencil with a clear satisfaction. Now, as a kid, you probably just thought the mayor was a bit of a weirdo, but clearly there's far more going on here, and while his pencil might have snapped, he's definitely getting lead put in other areas of his body. Number 6. The Somersault Contest, Home Improvement. It goes without saying that animation can get away with much more than live action does when it comes to sneaking in adult gags, but you'd be surprised how many of your favourite 80s and 90s sitcoms left filthy jokes hiding in plain sight. Home Improvement's Season 3 episode, It Was the Best of Tim's, It Was the Worst of Tim's, revolves around Tim and his wife Jill trying to restore some of the lost spice to their relationship, ending with the two enjoying a romantic dance and then Jill dropping her bathrobe to the floor. The final scene of the episode occurs the next morning as their kids discuss the somersault contest they heard their parents having the night before. Now, young Mark hilariously asks why they haven't been invited to join in, only to be told, "Trust me, you don't want to play." Tim and Jill then finally emerge from their slumber, and when Mark asks them who won the contest, Tim replies, "Your mum won. She always wins." After Mark leaves, he then asks her, "You did win, didn't you?" And she fires back, "Twice." I have no words, even my one per list stuff is more subtle than that. Number 5. Heifer gets milked. Rocko's Modern Life. Like so many Nickelodeon cartoons of its era, Rocko's Modern Life was jam-packed with gags that would fly far over a youngling's head, only for it to be quite shocking watching the same scenes as an adult. Now, the infamous Season 1 episode, The Good, the Bad, and the Wallabies Milking Machine sees Heifer and Rocko hanging out at a ranch owned by Rocko's uncle, Gib Hootston, prompting Heifer to return to his, bassist instincts. While Heifer is sleeping, Gib connects him up to the cow milking machine known as the Milk-O-Matic, prompting Heifer to wake up and clearly enjoy some not-so-family-friendly fun. Now, given that Heifer is a steer and all, there's literally no way for him to be milked, but of course kids would be forgiven for not appreciating that. Hilariously, when Rocko and Heifer are about to go home, Heifer heads back into the barn and says a melancholic goodbye to the Milk-O-Matic. Now, these scenes were ultimately cut from most American runs of the episode, but it aired internationally without incident and was included intact on the series' home video release. Number 4. Grandpa Boris Wants to Die. Rugrats. Another Nickelodeon classic now with Rugrats, a show that so brilliantly managed to showcase the world from the perspective of babies while not being insulting to its audience. As you might expect, this view of the world meant that sometimes the adults of the show did and said things that the main cast can't even comprehend. However, we, as adults, have no such issue, and one of the darkest jokes ever pulled shows up in Season 3's Home Movies. Here, Stu Pickles bores the other adults almost to death with his extensive array of home video footage. This prompts an exacerbated Grandpa Boris to pick up the phone and make a call to Dr. Kevorkian, a seemingly innocuous name to kids, right? But not so much to older viewers. Dr. Jack Kevorkian was a real-life physician better known in the media as Dr. Death due to his extreme euthanasia advocacy, to the extent of assisting at least 130 patients to complete suicide. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but one that adds a really sinister edge to an otherwise delightful show. Number 3. Helga's Trembling Girlhood. Hey Arnold. Jesus, where to begin with this one? So, we all know that Helga is pretty much obsessed with Arnold, delivering poems to a shrine built in his image and relentlessly teasing him while playfully indicating that she wants nothing more than to be with old football head here. It's a confusing melodrama for sure, but it's one that just seemed like a simple childish crush. That was until Season 4 in the episode Helga's Parrot, where she reads one of her poems and it includes the line, "You make my girlhood tremble." Given that Helga is supposed to be 9 years old, it's just all kinds of wrong. To make matters worse, Helga's pet parrot clearly realises how disturbing it is and repeats what she said several times. As a kid, it seems totally harmless, but as an adult, Jesus. Also, this is the same episode, by the way, where she watches Arnold getting undressed. Suddenly, this is a lot more mature, isn't it? Number 2. SpongeBob watches porn. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants' uniquely oddball sense of humour has allowed it to sneak plenty of adult humour past younger viewers over the years. But even for the show's fairly permissive standards, this gag is a bit of a shocker. In the Season 2 episode, Your Shoes Untied, SpongeBob is watching a sea anemone dancing. Then, when Gary enters the room, SpongeBob changes the channel to an American football match and tells him, "I was just looking for the sports channel, Gary," in a manner that seems very close all incognito browser windows kind of way. Clearly, the implication is that sea life documentaries are very, very sexy to SpongeBob and his kind. And number 1, Fingerprints, Animaniacs. Honestly, this is pretty much the undisputed king of adult gags that made it into kid-friendly TV shows. The now legendary cameo by Prince in Animaniacs Season 1 episode Hercule Yakko. Yakko tells Dot to dust for Prince, and moments later she tells Yakko that she found Prince while carrying the pop icon in her arms. Yakko corrects her, stating that he means fingerprints, complete with a vaguely suggestive finger gesture, before Prince then turns to a concerned Dot with a bemused expression. I mean, come on, an animated character making this type of joke about a legendary musician, what else is there to say? You'd never pick up on it as a kid, but my god, that was so on the nose for an adult. I mean, there's innuendo, there's suggestiveness, but how many other TV shows have straight up made a joke about a young cartoon character fingering a legendary musician? And there we go, those were 8 TV show moments that everyone misunderstood as kids. I hope that you enjoyed this, my friends, and I hope that whatever you are getting up to today, you have a bloody fantastic day. Also, side note, I don't want to come across like I'm bashing anyone for watching children's TV shows as an adult. I mean, I still flip on Street Sharks every once in a while because it's got a banging soundtrack. What your choices do is they make you unique. You are a very unique individual, and therefore you are one of a kind, and you should be treated as such. If you are having trouble in your life and you need support, remember you can reach out. People do care way more than you realise. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, and if you want to chat to me further on Twitter, you can do so at RetroJ with a 0. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!